Welcome back, the followers of Stoic wisdom by Zeno. In a world where appearances often deceive, finding someone you can truly trust can feel like searching for a needle in a haystack. A friendly smile or a firm handshake can hide so many hidden agendas. Navigating relationships in this world of uncertainty demands more than just good intentions. It requires wisdom and discernment. And that's where Stoicism steps in. This ancient philosophy isn't just for philosophers. It's a survival guide for your mind, teaching you how to protect your peace, trust your judgment, and know when to step back. In this video, we're diving deep into the 9 types of people you should never trust. These are the ones who may seem harmless at first, but their intentions are far from pure. Together, we'll learn how to spot them, understand their behavior, and take action to safeguard your mental and emotional well-being. It's about reclaiming your freedom and living your life without the constant worry of being deceived or used. But before we get into it, don't forget to hit the subscribe button. If you're new here, your support helps us keep creating meaningful content that empowers you to live your best, most peaceful life. So, are you ready to take control? Ready to protect yourself from those who would try to drain your energy and disrupt your peace? Let's get started. In the next few moments, we'll uncover the first type of person you need to steer clear of. Trust me, once you recognize them, your life will change for the better. Guard your peace, step back when needed, and reclaim your freedom. Let's protect what matters most: your mind, your heart, and your future. Stay with me. Number 1. The hidden dangers. Are you blind to the people who betray your trust? Have you ever been blindsided by someone you thought you could trust? It's easy to get caught up in the comfort of familiarity, especially when people appear kind, trustworthy, and genuine on the surface. But sometimes, those who seem the most sincere are the very ones who can turn on you when you least expect it. It's a painful realization, but it's a reality we all face at some point. The question is, how can you protect yourself from those hidden dangers? How can you spot betrayal before it costs you your peace of mind? Trust is a fragile thing. Once broken, it's hard to repair. And the people who betray your trust often do so with subtlety, weaving their lies or actions in a way that's hard to notice until it's too late. Think of trust like a glass vase. Once it's shattered, it's incredibly difficult to piece it back together. Stoic philosophy teaches us that trust is something to be careful with, something to guard fiercely. Marcus Aurelius once said, "If someone speaks ill of you, don't worry. They're just revealing their true character." But how do we recognize these betrayers before they leave us broken and vulnerable? Imagine you've got a colleague who always listens to your problems, offers advice, and seems like the perfect confidant. You open up to them, sharing your deepest fears and challenges. Yet, one day, you hear from someone else that your so-called friend has been talking about your struggles behind your back, making fun of you, or using your vulnerabilities against you. It stings, doesn't it? You start questioning everything. Was any of it real? Was any of it true? This is the classic example of someone who betrays your trust. The person who promises loyalty but acts differently when you're not looking. Their betrayal isn't always obvious at first. It's often subtle and sneaky, like a snake waiting to strike. Here's the lesson. People who betray your trust often excel at hiding behind a mask. They're masters of manipulation, and they prey on your openness. But don't let this break you. Stoicism teaches us to focus on what's within our control. You can't control how others behave, but you can control how you respond. So, what can you do to protect yourself? First, recognize that not everyone deserves your trust. Protect your energy. Guard your heart. Establish boundaries early on, and don't let anyone overstep them without your consent. It's not about being paranoid, it's about being wise. If someone constantly spreads gossip or tries to get personal information from you, take a step back. Ask yourself, is this person building me up or breaking me down? The key here is to pay attention to the red flags. Are they quick to share others' secrets? Do they constantly undermine others to make themselves feel superior? These are warning signs that you might be dealing with someone who could betray you when the time is right. And here's the advice. Never sacrifice your peace for the sake of someone else's agenda. Trust is earned, not given. You don't owe anyone your loyalty if they haven't proven they deserve it. Take a moment and reflect. Have you ever trusted someone who later betrayed you? How did you handle it? Share your story in the comments below. Your experience can help someone else learn how to protect their peace. If you found this video helpful and feel that the lessons on protecting your peace and recognizing untrustworthy people can truly make a difference in your life, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. The more we all learn to guard our peace, the stronger our communities become. We'd love to hear how you've applied these lessons in your own life. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue this conversation. Together, we can create a world where trust is built on wisdom, not illusion. Number 2. What's your inner circle really doing for you? Are they helping or hurting you? Your inner circle, those close friends, family members and colleagues, have the power to shape your life in profound ways. But how do you know if they're lifting you up or dragging you down? Are they truly your support system, or are they just taking from your energy and peace? It's easy to fall into the trap of thinking that just because someone is close to you, they must have your best interests at heart. But here's the reality check. People often reveal their true colors when you're at your lowest. In times of joy, everyone's around, but when challenges come knocking, who stays and who walks away? Take a moment to reflect on a time when you needed help, when things weren't going right. Who was there for you, and who vanished? This is where Stoic philosophy comes into play. Seneca, a great Stoic philosopher, said, "Associate with people who are likely to improve you." It's not just about who's there during the celebrations, but who's there when the storm hits. And sometimes we need to cut ties with those who don't stand by us during our hardest moments. Imagine this. You're trying to swim across a river, and your inner circle is supposed to be your lifeline, the rope to pull you through. But instead of helping, they're holding the rope back, or even letting it slip from their hands. You're left struggling on your own. This is what happens when you invest in the wrong relationships. They might seem fine at first, but they hold you back when you need them the most. Assess your relationships. Are they helping you grow, or are they just there for the ride? If someone's draining your energy, it's time to set boundaries. Focus on building a circle that nurtures your soul and supports your journey. You don't need a crowd. You need a few solid, trustworthy people who won't let you drown when the waters get rough. Don't be afraid to protect your inner circle. It's your peace, and it's worth the effort. Number 3. The masked smile. How do you spot someone who's hiding their true intentions? Have you ever met someone who seemed perfect at first, charming, friendly, and full of promises? But as time passes, you begin to feel something isn't quite right. You can't put your finger on it, but there's a nagging sense that they're not being fully honest with you. So, How do you spot someone who's hiding their true motives behind that perfect smile? This is more common than you think. People have perfected the art of pretending, masking their true selves with kindness or charm to win your trust, only to exploit it later. It's like a beautifully wrapped gift that holds nothing but empty air inside. And here's the harsh reality. Sometimes, the more perfect the smile, the bigger the red flag. Beware the person who only shows you their best side. The truth is often hidden beneath the surface, as the Stoic philosopher Seneca wisely said. It's a reminder that true trust isn't just built on appearances, it's built on actions, consistency, and honesty. Think about a time when someone seemed to be your biggest cheerleader, always supporting you, always offering a helping hand. You might have been thrilled, thinking you found a true friend. But then, the moments of genuine support started to fade, replaced by selfish demands or calculated kindness that made you question their intentions. They wanted something in return, didn't they? This is what I mean by a masked smile. Number 4. The constant critic. Are you listening to feedback or just fueling your doubt? Have you ever poured your heart and soul into something only to be met with harsh, unhelpful criticism? It's like building a beautiful sandcastle, only to have someone come along and kick it down without offering any insight on how to make it stronger. How do you respond? Do you let their words tear you down, or do you stand tall and keep building? Here's the truth. Criticism, especially from constant critics, isn't about making you better. It's about making them feel superior. The constant critic thrives on creating doubt, not growth, and it can be exhausting to face this kind of negativity every day. Their words cut deep. But let me tell you something, you don't have to let them define you. The Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, remind us that we are the masters of how we respond to others. Reject your sense of injury, and the injury itself disappears, he said. It's not about ignoring the criticism, but about filtering it. Ask yourself, is this feedback meant to help me grow, or is it just a reflection of their own dissatisfaction? Think about a time when someone criticized you, not constructively, but just to bring you down. Maybe it was a colleague who shot down your ideas in a meeting, or a friend who criticized you when you were already feeling down. How did it make you feel? Small? Less confident? It's easy to let that negativity consume us. But here's the powerful part. You get to decide how much power their words have over you. Now, here's a little advice. When you face constant criticism, stop and ask yourself, is this person helping me grow, or just making me doubt myself? If it's the latter, it's time to step back. Guard your peace, protect your self-esteem. Surround yourself with those who offer constructive feedback, not just the ones who criticize without any intention of helping you improve. Remember, true strength lies in how we respond, not in how others criticize. So next time a critic comes for you, don't let their words rattle your confidence. Take a deep breath. Keep moving forward, and use their negativity as fuel to prove them wrong. You are in control of your narrative. Protect it. Number 5. Shallow connections. Are you wasting time on people who only show up when it's convenient? Have you ever felt like you were surrounded by friends, but when life hit hard, those friends seemed to vanish into thin air? It's like a party full of smiling faces, but when the music stops, you're left standing alone. How often have you found yourself in situations where the friends who cheer for you in your success suddenly disappear when you need them the most? This is the danger of shallow connections. They come in waves, just like a summer breeze, pleasant, easy, and light. But when storms roll in, they offer no shelter. You can't rely on them to stand by you in tough times. They vanish the moment life gets real. You see, we all know those friends, the ones who love to celebrate with you, who are there for every joyful occasion. But when your life is in turmoil, they're nowhere to be found. They're like fair weather birds that only flock around when the sun is shining. When it rains, they disappear without a trace. I learned this lesson the hard way. A while ago, I decided to follow a dream of opening a small business. Everyone cheered me on. It felt amazing having that excitement and support. But when the reality of running a business hit, the people who were first in line to congratulate me were now nowhere to be seen. The same friends who had promised support vanished when the pressure built up. I realized then, those were shallow connections, not real friendships. This is where Stoic philosophy offers a valuable lesson. True relationships are not about quantity, but quality. As Seneca said, "A few genuine friends are worth more than 100 shallow ones." These words hit me hard. They remind us to focus on cultivating friendships with people who stand by you in the shadows, not just in the spotlight. So, what's the takeaway? It's simple. Don't waste your time chasing after people who only show up when it's easy. Guard your peace and invest in relationships that are solid, that weather the storms, that are there when you're struggling, not just thriving. Recognize that true friendship is not about numbers or popularity. It's about loyalty, depth, and consistency. Ask yourself this: are the people around you really your friends, or are they just passing through your life like a breeze, here one moment and gone the next? Step back, reflect, and reclaim your energy. You deserve friends who don't just show up for the good times, but stick with you through the tough ones too. So next time you're faced with those so-called friends who vanish when things get rough, remember, choose wisely, protect your energy, reclaim your peace. Real friends show up when the going gets tough, not just when the going's easy. And when you make room for these authentic relationships, your life will be fuller, richer, and grounded. Number 6. Can you trust someone who doesn't understand you? Have you ever opened up to someone pouring your heart out, only to be met with indifference? Or worse, have they dismissed your feelings as if they were nothing more than an inconvenience? Trust me, I've been there. You share something personal, hoping for empathy, but instead, you're greeted with a cold, empty response. It's like offering a warm cup of tea to someone who hands it back, saying, "I prefer coffee." In that moment you realize this person doesn't get it. They don't get you. So here's a hard truth. Empathy is the foundation of every meaningful connection. Without it, there's no understanding, no compassion, no trust. And when someone can't empathize with you, they can't truly be there for you. They're only there when it's convenient for them, when they can look good by association. But when the storm hits, when life gets tough, they're nowhere to be found. Or worse, they'll talk over you, making it all about themselves, leaving you in the cold. Think about this for a second. Imagine you're drowning in a sea of stress and confusion. You turn to a friend for support, but instead of a lifeline, they throw in a weight, asking, "Why don't you just figure it out?" This is the problem with people who lack empathy. They can't see beyond their own little world, their problems, their agenda, their life. And in that moment, your emotions don't matter. You don't matter. Stoicism teaches us to recognize that we can't control others, but we can control how much space we give them in our lives. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic philosophers, said, "We are not disturbed by what happens to us, but by our thoughts about what happens." If someone lacks empathy, it's not a reflection of you, it's a reflection of them. And while we can't change people, we can decide who we allow to influence our peace. So, here's your lesson. Protect your energy. Guard your peace. Invest in relationships with people who listen, who get you, and who stand by you when life gets hard, not just when everything is smooth sailing. And remember, empathy isn't about grand gestures. It's about being present, showing care, and offering understanding without judgment. Take a moment right now and ask yourself, are the people around you truly empathetic? Or are they simply filling space in your life? It's time to set boundaries. Don't be afraid to step back from those who can't offer the emotional support you deserve. Guard your heart, reclaim your peace, and surround yourself with people who see you, not just the version of you they want to see. And if you're still unsure about whether someone in your life understands you, ask yourself this. When you share your struggles, do they listen, or do they turn it into a conversation about themselves? If it's the latter, it might be time to reconsider the trust you place in them. As you reflect on this, share your thoughts with me in the comments below. Have you encountered people who lack empathy? How did you handle it? Let's talk about it and learn from each other's experiences. And don't forget to hit the like button if this resonated with you. If you found this video helpful and feel that the lessons on protecting your peace and recognizing untrustworthy people can truly make a difference in your life, don't keep it to yourself. Like this video, subscribe, and share it with someone who needs to hear this. The more we all learn to guard our peace, the stronger our communities become. We'd love to hear how you've applied these lessons in your own life. Share your thoughts in the comments below, and let's continue this conversation. Together, we can create a world where trust is built on wisdom, not illusion. Number 7. Manipulators in disguise. Are you allowing someone to control your peace? Have you ever found yourself feeling like you're walking on eggshells around someone? Like every time you share a piece of your life, you suddenly feel exposed, vulnerable, like they've got a mental checklist of how to twist your words or manipulate your emotions. If you haven't yet, brace yourself, because it's more common than we realize. Manipulators are the masters of disguise, blending kindness with control, making you believe you can trust them until you can't. Remember this. Not all who appear to help are truly helping. Think about it like this. Have you ever had a neighbor who, at first glance, seemed like the sweetest person? Always ready to lend a hand, show up with a meal when you're feeling down, or even just pop by to ask how your day's going. Sounds like the kind of person we all dream of having in our lives, right? But here's the twist. Soon, you realize their help always comes with a price. You help them with one small favor, and suddenly they want you to make a bigger commitment. How about hosting a party in your yard? They ask, with that charming smile. And before you know it, you're left wondering, did they ever really care, or were they just after what they could get from you? This is the subtle, creeping danger of the psychological manipulator. They aren't loud or obvious in their approach. No, they're smooth operators, speaking to you like they're your best friend while plotting behind the scenes to use your emotions, your weaknesses, and your trust for their own advantage. They can make you feel guilty for not doing what they want, even when you have every right to say no. It's a slow burn, and one you may not notice until the damage is done. Stoic philosophy offers us a powerful antidote to this toxic brew of manipulation: awareness and boundaries. As Marcus Aurelius wisely said, "The best revenge is not to be like your enemy." Recognizing manipulative behavior for what it is, control in disguise, gives you the power to step back and reassess your relationship with that person. Here's a lesson for you. You don't have to explain yourself when setting boundaries. The Stoics believed in mastering the mind and understanding that we alone control our emotions and responses. When someone is pulling at your strings, manipulating you with guilt or promises of help, it's your job to reclaim your peace and your power. Don't let their manipulation define your reality. You have the right to guard your heart, your mind, and your space. So the next time someone tries to use your trust for their own gain, ask yourself, is this really about my well-being, or is it about theirs? Reflect on your own experiences. Have you ever noticed someone slowly trying to control the narrative of your life? How did you handle it? This is a call to action. Don't let anyone invade your peace for their own agenda. Step back, trust yourself, and set the boundaries that will protect your peace. Your energy is precious. Don't waste it on manipulators who don't deserve it. Reclaim your freedom, because you have the power to control who enters your world. Guard it wisely. Number 8. Can you really say no? The power of protecting your boundaries. What happens when you say no? Do you stand firm, or does the guilt start creeping in, making you second-guess yourself? The truth is, saying no is one of the most powerful tools you have, yet so many of us are afraid to use it. Why? Because we worry about disappointing others or feeling like we're letting people down. But here's the thing, if you don't protect your own boundaries, who will? Imagine you've had a long, exhausting day. You're finally home, craving peace, and all you want is some time to recharge. But then comes the call, the message, the demand. Hey, can you help me with this? I really need you. You're tired. You've got your own things to handle, but you still hesitate. Why? Because saying no feels wrong, doesn't it? We've all been there, right? But let me ask you, is it more selfish to say no, or to keep saying yes until you're burnt out and no good to anyone? Stoicism teaches us that we control our decisions, not others. Marcus Aurelius put it simply, you have power over your mind, not outside events. This doesn't mean we're heartless or uncaring. It means we prioritize our peace and well-being, which in turn allows us to show up more effectively for others. When you say no, you're not just rejecting a request. You're protecting your mental space, your energy, and your values. Think of it like a fortress. Every time you say no, you're adding another layer of defense. And here's the kicker. By standing your ground, you also teach people how to respect you. You're not a doormat. You're a person who knows their worth and demands the same from others. We've all been pushed into uncomfortable situations where we feel obligated to give more than we have. But that's the problem. You can't pour from an empty cup. When you honor your boundaries, you're not being selfish. You're practicing self-respect. And when you protect yourself, you open up the space to give from a place of true generosity. When you're ready, not because you're pressured. So, next time you feel that guilt bubbling up, remember this. You have the right to say no without an explanation. You are not responsible for others' disappointment. If they truly value you, they'll understand. And if they don't, that's a red flag. Don't waste your energy on guilt or second-guessing. Stand firm. Reclaim your peace. Take a moment right now. Reflect. What's one thing you've been afraid to say no to? How can you protect your peace by setting that boundary? Trust me, saying no isn't just a choice. It's a form of self-care, a declaration of the value you place on your time and energy, and that's worth protecting. In conclusion, recognizing and setting boundaries is a vital step in protecting your peace and preserving your mental well-being. By saying no when necessary, you're not only safeguarding your own energy, but teaching others to respect you. Remember, you control your decisions, and your peace is worth defending. So, take action today. Identify where you need to set boundaries, and don't be afraid to stand firm. If this video resonated with you, please hit the like button and subscribe for more life-enhancing content. We'd love to hear about your experiences with setting boundaries. Share your thoughts in the comments below.